Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is 4 minutes past 11. You are listening to the mid-morning talk on Salam Media with me, Mari Mukwanda. And I am coming to you live from our studios, 90 Xavier Street, Robert Sham, Gauteng. Coming up on the show today on this Tuesday, the 14th of June, 2022, we're going to be talking about the fourth industrial revolution and how to prepare your children for it with Adam Fairall, middle school teacher at Reddam House Atlantic Seaboard. We're also going to be having a panel discussion about Youth Day. What are the major issues affecting the youth at the moment? And is the youth of 1976 responsible for the bulk of those issues? My guests there will be Irfan Mangera, Michelle Mufaro Maka, as well as Faiza Locke. More on them will be coming up later on. And we'll end off the show chatting to Dr. Shaida Umar from the Teddy Bear Clinic, who's going to be giving us insight to this recent study that was done by the University of Cape Town's Children's Institute, saying that children are reluctant to come forward about abuse. So we're going to be finding out what are the causes of this. Why do children feel reluctant to come forward about abuse? And and how can it be mitigated? That was that was not a burp, by the way. That was a hiccup. All right, guys, you are listening to the mid-morning talk on Salam Media. We'd love to hear from you. Send us your comments, questions, queries, and suggestions to our WhatsApp line on 061 766 0355. And you can also get in touch with us on our social media pages. Find us on Twitter at Salam Media, on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Salam Media. And you can listen online by going to our website, www.salammedia.com. Use the hashtag the mid-morning talk. Stay with us. We will be right back with Adam.
It is not their meat nor their blood that reaches Allah. It is your piety that reaches Him. Perform your qurbani locally for 1,900.
There's an ad. Oh, no. I can't.
Well in Bangladesh, Malawi, Nepal, Zimbabwe, or here at home in South Africa. Donate to Penny Appeal's Thirst Relief Project to bring safe, clean water to communities around the world. www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 1100 573. Penny Appeal. Small change, big difference.
There's no smell that takes me back to the comfort of my childhood than the smell of black seed oil being applied by my nanny. Now I'm using Tib black seed in my own home to soothe sniffles and coughs, to help with digestion and immunity, and of course, as part of my beauty routine. After all these years, I've come to appreciate the wisdom in finding comfort and shifa in trusted treatments like Tib black seed. You can find Tib black seed at all leading pharmacies or find out more at blackseed.co.za.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness, and every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Sustain, sacrifice, share. This Eid al-Adha, donate your Udhiya Qurbani for Africa Muslims Agency. We ensure that your Qurbani not only feeds the poor but creates sustainable incomes for local farmers, brings the practice of sacrifice to the villages and shares the spirit of Eid. Sponsor in South Africa for 2,650 rands. Africa 1,650 rands. Palestine 7,250 rands per share. Or in Lebanon, Afghanistan and other countries across the globe. Visit africamuslimsagency.co.za for pricing and to donate. Call Africa Muslims Agency now on 011 834 8685. Africa Muslims Agency, commemorating 35 years of empowering, educating, inspiring.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
Over the years, industrial revolutions have helped shape societies across the globe, each introducing key technologies that have brought about vast improvements and increased efficiency in the workplace and propelling society as a whole to new heights. With increases in alternatives to mainstream schools and classrooms, the opportunities to integrate digital technology into our educational system are endless. How do we prepare our children for the fourth industrial revolution, or the 4IR? Joining me to tell us more is Adam Fairall, middle school teacher at Reddam House Atlantic Seaboard. Good morning, Adam, and thank you for joining me.
Good morning, Miriam. How are you? It's wonderful to be here.
Good, thanks. And yourself?
Good, thanks.
All right, the fourth industrial revolution. We've been hearing about it. It's not anything new at the moment. It's been around for a while now, and with the advent of COVID-19, we have seen more changes being done in our educational system. So, what impact does the fourth industrial revolution have on children?
So the fourth industrial revolution has completely altered, I think, our mindset predominantly after COVID, particularly about how we work, how we entertain ourselves, and predominantly how we go about educating ourselves. So whether it be sort of adult education in that sense, but I think particularly concerned with children and their education, it's had a massive impact on what teachers are seeing as being possible, both in and out of the classroom, what industry is seeing being possible. And so the impact has been quite sort of phenomenal, but at the same time, many children have been left behind with the technological divide, in the sense of saying, like, if they don't have access to some of these really amazing technologies, they can then face sometimes the backlash of the fourth industrial revolution. And so as a parent, it's how do we responsibly look after our children and encourage them to be kind of in person and personable, but at the same time, how do we give them the skills and the tools that they need in order to function as adequate citizens in the 21st century? And what does that mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, first of all, before we can get into the skills, etc., we need to understand what it is, especially for those who are not so tech savvy. So how do we get them to understand, as well as to teach the children what the fourth industrial revolution is all about?
So it comes with the idea of upskilling yourself as a person. And I think in many industries, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, that in order to be sort of at the cutting edge of the medicine, you're working with practicing the laws or whatever it might be, you've got to upskill yourself. So I think a big part of that as a parent, particularly, is upskilling yourself in terms of what is available out there, what's actually happening globally, both as a parent and I think as a teacher, and I think as schools. So looking at how the world has been digitized, looking at how AI, artificial intelligence, is transforming the way we function, looking at how algorithms are playing on our human patterns and giving us, adverts that appeal to things we're interested, or, adding all these different values and all these new things that potentially weren't available to us in the past. And how do we kind of stay on top of that, at the same time kind of ensuring that we're not leaving the skills, the traditional skills and benefits of quality education behind either. So parents almost need to take their own responsibility to inform themselves. But I think, students and children in general, they're kind of on their own journey of investigating what's out there when it comes to social media, when it comes to playing games online, when it comes to interacting online and socializing. And we've got to be aware as parents, as teachers, of what these sort of tools are and what's happening in these environments, but also how we can then learn about those things and then use those things to equip our children to make not only good decisions and healthy decisions for themselves, but I think healthy decisions for their future. And in what way can we monetize this, or business frames in business perspectives,
All right. So now, one of the things that you wrote about in your article is skills. Even though you attempted to write the word skills with a Z. So let's talk about the skills that are required in the fourth industrial revolution. How do we upskill ourselves as well as our children?
So I think, the interesting thing is we and I say we, I include myself in this. In some respects, we kind of traditionally minded in what we believe valuable skills are, So obviously the fundamental skills of entrepreneurship, business skills, business acumen, personal interactions, like those are fundamental skills. But the skills with the Z, are looking at skills that we might not consider these things important. Like my child is really good at playing FIFA on Xbox. You might think, okay, well, that's great, and he's relaxing or she's relaxing and they're having a good time playing FIFA on the Xbox. But actually, they then could potentially compete in esports and become these global superstars and end up making six-figure salaries playing computer games. And I think when we talk about skills, we don't consider that as a form of business from kind of the current mindset we have. And so it's about readjusting our mindsets and looking at things we would never have considered opportunities for skill development as now opportunities for skill development, for sort of future forward thinking, for opportunities to make money or get information or share information. So that's becoming more and more important. And branding and imaging is more important, than it's ever been before. My own personal brand's really becoming an important thing. And we see this with things like, and oddly so, sites like TikTok, for example, where people are relying on their personal brands to then establish an identity. When I matriculated, there were, maybe 500,000 South Africans matriculating at the same time. Last year, there were way more. And we are so focused with the number of people, the percentage that people are matriculating with, how well do people matriculate? But what we are not focused on is how many people are matriculating. And it's far more difficult for young people, 2021's matriculants, far more difficult for them to make an impact in the world and to have their voice heard and to find opportunities than it was for potentially me and for potentially people older than me. So we've got to be mindful that we've got to be innovative with the skills we develop. We've got to be innovative with this digital world in order to allow our children the opportunity to adjust themselves and their mindsets so that they can stand out, that they can shine in a place that might never have existed a few years ago.
All right, Adam, let's take a quick break and we will continue thereafter, especially with the role of educators and parents in this whole thing. Like, where do they fit in? Please stay with us.
That reaches him. Perform your Qurbani locally for 1,980 Rand per share. Visit us at sanzaf.org.za or call us on 011 834 6046. Sanzaf, changing lives through development and relief.
There's no smell that takes me back to the comfort of my childhood than the smell of black seed oil being applied by my nanny. Now I'm using tib black seed in my own home to soothe sniffles and coughs, to help with digestion and immunity, and of course, as part of my beauty routine. After all these years, I've come to appreciate the wisdom in finding comfort and shifa in trusted treatments like tib black seed. You can find tib black seed at all leading pharmacies or find out more at blackseed.co.za.
Approximately 785 million people in this world do not have access to safe, clean water. In developing countries, around 80% of all illnesses are due to contaminated water and poor sanitation. Don't let dirty water end a life. Build a water well in Bangladesh, Malawi, Nepal, Zimbabwe, or here at home in South Africa. Donate to Penny Appeal's Thirst Relief Project to bring safe, clean water to communities around the world. www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 1100 573. Penny Appeal. Small change, big difference.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness, and every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and free zakat calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Sustain, sacrifice, share. Africa. This Eid al-Adha, donate your udhiyah qurbani to Africa Muslims Agency. We ensure that your qurbani not only feeds the poor but creates sustainable incomes for local farmers, brings the practice of sacrifice to the villages, and shares the spirit of Eid. Sponsor in South Africa for 2,650 rands. Africa 1,650 rands. Palestine 7,250 rands per share. Or in Lebanon, Afghanistan, and other countries across the globe. Visit africamuslimsagency.co.za for pricing and to donate. Call Africa Muslims Agency now on 011-834-8685. Africa Muslims Agency, commemorating 35 years of empowering, educating, inspiring.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Mid-Morning Talk on Salam Media, and we are talking about the fourth industrial revolution and how you as a parent or educator can prepare your child for the 4IR. The 4IR has been around for a while, right? But it's not something new, but we need to prepare our kids for them. And with me is Adam Fairall, middle school teacher at Reddam House Atlantic Seaboard. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section or send them to us on WhatsApp. The number is 061 766 0355. So Adam, we were talking about the skills that are required, etc., and the impact that the 4IR has on our children. Now, what is the role of parents and educators? How can we play our part to ensure that our kids are prepared for the 4IR?
So I think one of the most important things is to be open-minded, especially as a parent, to opportunities that you might not have anticipated as being an opportunity for your child to develop skills or learn these kind of future skills that we've considered. So I think being open, being also open to read and research about it, and to learn a bit more. So equip yourself as a parent in terms of understanding what that looks like and what that means. So by reading my article, but another way that particularly educators could also kind of engage is also by being open-minded. I think educators, especially if you've been teaching for a long time, you can become quite stagnant in your approach to thinking about the future, to thinking about these sort of things. Cell phones in class, for example. Teachers often look at that and go, no, cell phones should be taken away from children so they can concentrate and listen. But maybe rather than doing that, incorporate their cell phones into the task, so that they're not kind of packed away as these distracting devices, but rather used and incorporated to better engage and better educate. And there are so many amazing apps out there that teachers can start using. There are amazing people doing wonderful things. There's an organization called purple.co.za doing some great stuff. There are lots of different departments. The Western Cape Department of Education is doing a lot of training with their government teachers. And in fact, it's even open to private teachers in the Western Cape. The Gauteng Department of Education is also doing quite a few things to equip their staff, their teachers, their schools. Their organizations. There's a wonderful NGO called School in a Box, and that provides tablet-based education to government schools in need, and then NGO. And it's really interesting because you're using tablets, you're using phones, you're using applications. A lot of people get really nervous about using these things. A lot of people get really nervous about using technology, but it's about experimenting, playing with, and getting used to it, and then trusting yourself with it, and then trusting the students with it, and it is a bit of a risk, but it is the way in which stuff is moving forward, and we've got to make sure that we are mitigating the risk as best we can and introducing this sort of technology to our students, to our children in a safe, healthy way, so they are able to utilize this to the best of their ability.
I actually watched a film the other day about a boy who had a learning disorder. He was dyslexic, but a special type of dyslexia. And he used his cell phone in class to record his math lessons so that he could go home and do them on his own. I mean, with the other tools that he had. So if parents and teachers, or rather teachers, could allow for such to happen, then, it would bring about a lot of change. There could be a lot of genius kids out there. Just because they have a learning disorder or learning disability does not stop them from becoming who they were meant to be. Now, there's another problem that we have here, Adam. How do we reach rural areas where technology is difficult to get, where the network is poor, etc., and kids who have to walk kilometers just to get to school? How do we reach them, and how do we get the 4IR, and how do we, basically, how do they be part of the 4IR?
It's a massive challenge, I think, that we face as a country, and I there's no way of underplaying it, and I don't think there's one easy, simple solution to solve a problem like that. I think there are organizations out there like this organization, School in a Box. I use them only because I know of them quite well, but there are quite a few organizations like that out there who are looking at ways of particularly addressing that issue. Rural communities where there is no internet, or sometimes when electricity is even in question. So I mean, some of the stuff is either then pre-stored, or they use cell phone networks to transmit information to these tablets, charging them using solar panels. There have been a lot of different options explored, particularly to reach these communities, and I think it's becoming more and more important to ensure that those people, those students out there in those environments, in those communities, are not being left behind. As the world progresses, as the Eastern, Western world progresses in terms of developing technologies, investing in AI, investing in algorithms. What's a subsistence farmer, in some rural location going to have to offer when it comes to being able to compete with a world like that? And so it is our responsibility, I think, to support those communities as best we can. And I think our government is aware of that. I think they are A lot of people run the South African government down, but I actually think in many cases our government's doing a really good job with what they have to give opportunities to people as best they can in particularly rural and difficult situations.
And also, we need to look into the whole data thing, because data is quite expensive in South Africa. So, if data is expensive, that's just another challenge that we have to overcome when it comes to 4IR and getting our kids involved. And schools, how can schools future-proof kids for the 4IR?
I love that word, future-proof. To be honest with you, and to be frank with you, I don't think we can future-proof. But what I think we can do is I think we can teach our children to be adaptable. And I think adaptability, dynamic thinking, flexibility, these are the skills that our children need. These are the sorts of skills, dynamic critical thinking, where I'm solving a problem and it's generating more problems, and I have to now re-engage that problem in a new way. That's really the skill that students need to cope with a sort of a world that is future-proofed, to expect the unexpected. And I think for us in our own mindset, we're so used to the world being linear and being understandable. Business is done in this way. This is how I engage these people. This is how you do a sale. This is how. But I think that is being turned on its head by, this kind of post-COVID fourth industrial revolution. And I think the whole concept of how we necessarily think about doing things the right way is being kind of altered and changed. And I think kids look at the world differently. They socialize differently. They connect differently. And so we've got to, when you're making a sale with a Gen Z person selling something to another Gen Z person, they're doing so in a completely different way to maybe how you and I might engage on a point like that, or doing business like that. So I think, we can't necessarily future-proof them, but what we can do is we can teach them and give them skills to be dynamic, to almost handle unexpected situations.
Wow, well, I just love what you said there, because it also got me thinking about my brother who's a Gen Z and is like, he can sell almost anything to anyone. Like, oh, okay, wow, perhaps they can teach us a thing or two, because the times are ever changing and we can't really parent our kids the way we were parented. I mean, we have to keep up with the times. Like, I'm teaching my mom how to use a smartphone, but yet my child is teaching me how to do something else as well. So it's like, wow. Right, Adam, any final thoughts or advice?
I think as a parent, put your children in situations that they are maybe not familiar with. Teach them to take risks. I think these are very important things. Teach them how to fix things that are broken. And I know that sounds, I mean, these are pretty sort of obvious bits of advice, but I think that these are really important bits of advice. Entrepreneurial skills. The world is in desperate need of young entrepreneurs starting small businesses. So, help your kids start a business now, while they're a child, 10 years old, that's a great age to start a business. And the funny thing about the things like YouTube is you've got an 8-year-old making 20 million US dollars while, we're getting, dressed to go to our shop or be a lawyer or a doctor or, whatever. And you think, here's an 8-year-old doing this thing that we'd never imagine making money from, making an absolute fortune. It is possible, and the future is, it's wild, like I said in my article, in the sense that it's both wild in that there's so much that's unexpected, but it's also wild in that it's surprising and it's exciting. And I think teach your kids to be excited, teach your kids to be adventurous, and in doing so, kind of you become adventurous yourself. And I think that's the journey of being a parent, living kind of vicariously through the opportunities that your kids have.
Yeah. All right. So anyone who would like to read your article, where can they find it?
That's a really good question. It'll definitely be on our school's website. So our school is Reddam House Atlantic Seaboard. There's a news and events page, and the article will be present there. And then hopefully it'll get published in a few other places. I've recently written it, and we've recently sort of put it out. Alternatively, people are welcome to engage me. I think I'm on Facebook, so they can engage me there. It's Adam Fairall. My name as you see it. Me jumping up. I'm running a park run, jumping in the air. And they're welcome to message me and engage me on this if you'd like. I'm also on Instagram, and people can engage me there too. So there's lots of opportunities. Or just search Atlantic Seaboard, Reddam House Atlantic Seaboard. The desk will get you through to me, and you can email me and chat to me if it's something that you're particularly interested in, or if there's any questions or anything that I can help with, or any information that you might have. It's always great to work with other people and to think together.
All right. So thank you for your time, Adam, and for the lovely chat. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Adam Fairall, a middle school teacher at Reddam House Atlantic Seaboard, giving us insight on the article that he wrote regarding preparing our children for the fourth industrial revolution. It's titled Preparing Your Child for the 4IR, and you can find it on the Reddam House Atlantic Seaboard page, or you can find Adam Fairall on social media, Facebook and Instagram. It's a very interesting article here, and there's a lot of information regarding where to start and how to get involved in the 4IR, especially with your kids. If you have kids, I mean, even if you don't have kids, get involved in the 4IR. You might have nieces, nephews, etc. But eventually there will be a child somewhere that will require some direction. So, as a parent, it's always great to know these things, to research, to be open-minded, to read, and to educate yourself so that you are able to educate those around you. It is 11:36. You are listening to the Mid-Morning Talk on Salam Media. We will be right back.